Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 253. What today we're gonna talk about, man, is um, what we gonna talk about? Excuse me. What we're gonna talk about today is the fact that a lot of people don't know how to put up boundaries, or the fact that a lot of people don't want the truth being told about them to them, right? And I'm not saying everything that somebody says about you is correct, cause it's not, you know. Um, I was told yesterday by a couple people like you always got something to say, but it's like 95% of the time it's correct information, right? Like yeah, 'cause I'm not one of them dudes that go out their way to be an asshole to people, you know, unless you be an asshole to me first. Yeah, I don't really jive with all that. I don't jive with people who talk shit behind people's back and smile in their face. I don't do that, bro. Um, I think that's weird. Straight up, it's weird. I don't I don't jive with people who just like who pretend to like people but they don't like people. Cause my thing is like if you don't like people, that's fine. But have a legitimate reason for it. Like don't sit there and be like, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. And it's like, okay, and that's my thing, man. It's like boundaries are important. Knowing when to leave a conversation is important. Knowing when to not pick up a phone is important. Cause a lot of the times, man, people will just call you an event, and I'm like, it's about the same problems, same bullshit, situations that they're in, and a lot of the time it has nothing to do with them, right? I had a friend of mine, um, call me for something like, and they were just venting, and then like for like a half an hour, you know, and I'm sitting on the phone. I'm like, at that point in time, I'm kind of just tuning them out because it's like it's the same issue, it's the same problem, and the funny thing about it is that it doesn't necessarily affect them, you know. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, because it's like at that point I'm like, I really don't care, you know. I don't care about the situation. I don't care about what your feelings are towards it because while your feelings are valid, they're only valid to you. And I tell people that all the time because it's true. It's like, why do you care about what so and so got going on? Why do you care about how they moving or X, Y, and Z? It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to you. Like what they do is none of your concern. That's that's where boundaries come into play. You know, like, boundaries aren't just for you; it's for the other person. It's like, and I simply told this individual like, hey, I hope they figure this shit out. But hey, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go. And and I think that's the most important thing, man. Is like sometimes it's like you ever look at the phone, but like, yeah, no, absolutely not. Like no. Um, and like that's where I'm at because I just look at that like okay, like that's fine, that's cool, it's whatever. But a lot of the times, a lot of the shit that people try to involve you in have nothing to do with you, bro. And the sooner you figure that out, the better off you'll be because you don't want to be that dude who's always on the other end of the line. And, just listen to people vent. Because after a while, it's like it gets tiresome. You know, like I'm never the type of person that will ever tell you to stop talking about a situation because if it still bothers you, it still bothers you. But at the same time, if you're talking about the same thing over and over and over again, it's like, yo, like you need to move on from this. You know, I get it. Um, being left out of certain situations and conversations suck. Being the last person to know about certain things suck. Or having a bad breakup happen to you and like or like you think it's more than more than what it was and it wasn't. And a lot of the times that's what it is. It's like I've been in situations where it's like I know it's a situationship and not that I necessarily end up getting burned from it because I didn't, but like the girl kept doing all this random shit and I'm like, yo, like what do you want? And I'm thinking, okay, like we back to business, so boom, 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 whatever. And then like she's like, whoa, like, you know, like I think she was checking on my stories, you know, consecutively for like a fucking like a week and a half straight, and I'm thinking we cool, you know. So I DM her like, oh, so we good? And then she's like, no. And why are you checking on my stories? You're weirdo. You're literally a weirdo for that. Like I'm talking about, like she blocked me, blocked me again, and unblocked me. You know what I mean? And a lot of this shit had nothing to do with me. It was like, it was like, you know, this shit that she couldn't control. It's like, and the thing about it is like, she's the one who opened up the Pandora's box and fucking did what she did, right? Now I'm not saying that I'm over here being innocent, because I'm not. But my thing is simply this: is like, if you don't have boundaries set up for yourself, or if you don't understand how important boundaries are, you're gonna find yourself in situations like this all the time. It's like you don't understand it, because it's like you think, oh well, it's just for the moment, whatever it is. But like, no, it's like I spend a lot of time on social media. Well, not a lot of time. You know, I spend quite a bit of time on social media, and so I don't know how true this is or whatever it is. I don't know I don't know if the validity of it, right? And so this one girl, she posted a story to Threads saying like for about a year, she would see this guy at the gym, and like they would talk, make small talk and X, Y, and Z. And so one day he goes, "Hey, Mrs. So and so," and mind you, she said that she never said, she never gave him his last, her last name. And she said, "Oh, how'd you figure out my last name?" And he goes, "Oh, I ran your plates. I found out your last name." And I'm like, most cities and states, they have public records where you can look up people's information, whether by name, if you know their first and last name and their initials, and or by license plate. For parking tickets, speeding violations, all kinds of stuff, traffic wise, right? Traffic ticket wise. And everybody in the comment, male and female, were like, yo, that's so strange, because it's not like dude didn't talk to you or see you all the time for a year. He could have asked you what your name was, whatever. He could have made conversations within that time, and he could have did his thing. But for him to run to run her plates, not only does he know her personal information, it's like there's so much shit that people can find out, and especially, and like a lot of people brought up the fact if he's law enforcement too, and I'm like, yeah, if he's law enforcement too, that means he has access to this whole entire database that's and he's abusing his power, which is a fireable offense. And again, boundaries are important. It's like, again, I don't know the validity of it, but I do know this. That guy's actions tells me he's done it more than once. That guy's actions tells me that he's okay with being a creeper, which doesn't make any sense, because why would you creep on somebody, bro, when they're willingly wanting to talk to you every single day, or every time you see them, they talk to you. And like I said, boundaries are important. Not like knowing how to recognize the situation is important, and knowing how to understand where your presence is needed and wanted, and sometimes you just got extra stage left. You don't have to sit there and like pretend to interject yourself in the conversations where your opinion doesn't matter. Or it's like I tell people at work all the time, because the nature of the job is like, yo, like you can't take things personal. You take things personal, you're gonna burn yourself out, because you are. And a lot of people don't understand that. I'm like, yo, it's like, no, it's like you keep doing shit you keep doing the shit the shit that you're doing the way that you're doing it, and you're gonna burn yourself out. I don't care what you think it is. I don't care, what your thought process behind it is. It's like, you keep doing it this way, you're gonna burn yourself out. Because a lot of people lack the boundaries, or like instead of them doing something and just being quiet about it, they want to tell everybody about it, and they tell everybody about it, and I'm like, okay, but homie, it's like you still gotta accomplish the goal. Now you got people asking you questions, you know, and that's what it is. And I think that's the most important thing. It's like staying quiet about your goals, staying quiet about what you have going on, staying quiet because it's really nobody else's business as to why you're doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why you're doing what you're doing. Your goals are your goals. And and I tell people all the time, it's like nobody can want this shit better than you want it. If somebody wants it more than you, then you don't want it bad enough. Or it's like, I guess it's me growing up with the parents that I had in the 90s, because it's like the 90s was a different time, dog. It's like I remember before dial-up. I remember having to get up and like having back in the day you had a dedicated channel to play video games, right? So you had to turn it on a certain way. And I had to flip it to that setting to play the video games. Anyway, so the old school cat in the gym yesterday had asked me. He's like, "Yo, man, like, how'd you get so wise, bro? As young as you are, because I'm only 37." And I said, "Man, point blank, period, bro. My parents were old. My dad had me at 44, and my mom was 38. So it was like." I had some old school parents, man. It's like, and they taught me game for the most part. It took me a while to figure things out, but once I figured things out, man, it's like a lot of the times, bro, it's like you just have to be aware with what you're doing, and it's not about your feelings. It's not, and like that's the interesting part, man. It's like people think that their feelings matter, and they're like, yo, they only matter to you. So once you figure that shit out, once you figure out, okay, X, Y, and Z, boom, 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 let me just handle business this way. Sometimes too, it's not even about the situation itself. It's about how you handle it. There's a lot of times where I'll say something in a manner, and I'm like, and they be like, yo, that was me, and I'm like, oh shit. And I go back and think about it, like, yeah, that was mean. You know what I mean? Or that wasn't the nicest way to say that. So, I mean, yeah, that's what that is, bro. It's like knowing when to interject and knowing when to leave a conversation alone, and just understanding that it is what it is. And I think that's the most important part, man. It's like stop thinking that people owe you something because your feelings are hurt, or you should never use somebody for the time, money, or or presence, right? It's like you never take anybody for granted like that. I don't care how bad of a person they are. I don't care what they got going on. You don't want to stoop down to their level. You don't want to be that individual like, oh yeah, I'm only using him or her because because they got money. So it's transactional. Okay, but how would you feel if somebody did that to you? Because you know what? It's going to happen one of these days. It's going to happen where karma's going to spin the block on your ass. And it's like, boom. Remember that shit? Yeah. Nigga, now your turn. So I think that's the most important thing, man. It's like move with grace, move with humility, but don't be a doormat, man. It's like, and I tell people all the time, it's like, bro, my hands, my legs may look funny, I may walk funny, but my hands were perfectly fine, bro. I'm telling you, man. Just leave me alone. You leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. You be cool, I'll be cool with you. It's like you can't be disrespectful to a motherfucker and be like, oh yeah, how come you always like, oh no, all that bullshit you was talking, fuck you. Like this is the energy we on. And people want to act like you mean. I'm like, no, you ain't mean. It's called having boundaries. It's called like I'm the type of cat I can't fake like you. I don't know how motherfuckers do that. I don't. You know, I really don't. You know, it's like there are some people that I see. I'm like, ah, fuck you, straight up. They're like, what? Like, fuck you, straight up. They're like, no, I don't fuck with you. Don't want to fuck with you. There's no need to fuck with you. Like, no, I am cool. And that's what it is, bro. It's like people gotta stop that, man. It's like you over there thinking that shit sweet or shit this, you know. It's like no, it's like the last thing I'm gonna hit on was this Instagram video that I posted yesterday, and bro was talking about. He was like, yo, like you don't get to tell somebody how far they get to take it after you hurt them, right? And the analogy he was making was on point. He's like, yo, like that's like you hitting somebody, then you turn around and complain of how hard they hit you, but you started the whole cut, but you started the whole thing, right? And he was like, man, you don't know people's triggers levels, their patience levels, and it's like, you know, and it is what it is. Cause some days, bro, it's like I'm pretty patient for the most part, but there are some days it's like, dog, I don't know, like no, like not today, bro. You know, like please leave me alone. You know, like, and usually most people heed that warning, like, yo, just back up off me for a minute, bro. You know what I mean? It's like I'm cool, but right now, like, nigga, it ain't the time. Come back tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's like, or it's like, especially when it's like, when it's always some negative bullshit, or when it's always some sort of bullshit that doesn't involve me, and I'm like, yo, why are you coming to my door with this? You know, why do you feel like it's okay to constantly talk about the situation that doesn't really concern you, bro? You know, to me it's just weird. Honestly, straight up, it's weird because you don't understand the severity of it too. And I've literally had to tell people like, yo, it's like stop coming to me with your drama, because number one, it's your fault. Like you keep interjecting yourself into it. You keep you keep making it about you, and it's not about you. It's like, you know, and like that's the sad part. Is like when people do that shit and they want to be like, oh well, X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And like what bro was saying in the video, he was like, you know, you don't know what people go through. You don't know what, you know, how they go through certain things. It's like, you know, when I lost my dad, when I lost my grandmother, I expected that, you know, and me, because they were so much older than me. My grandmother died when she was 95, yeah, 94, 95. So you expect that, bro. My dad died at 68 from cancer, but you kind of expect that because he had cancer. My brother dying at 35, bro, I'm probably never ever gonna be right, you know. You know, a couple weeks ago, I celebrated his birthday. You know, him turning 37, and it's like, and he never got to salty, like he never got to see 36. He died at 35, man. You know, and he died in February of 2024, and his birthday's in November. So he never got to see 36 or 37, man. And it's like there's a part of me is like when people talk about their siblings and all this other bullshit they go through, like, yo, I'm like, you have no idea how much I would kill to have one last conversation with my brother. You have no idea. And of course, I have another sibling and whatnot, but it's like, you know, it's like there's no relationship there because he's so much older than me. Like, if I'm 37, he's 55, bro. He's 18 years older than me. And so it's like, so like whenever I hear people bitch about their siblings and whatnot, like, bro, it's like that's a motherfucker who's like he or she's gonna have your back throughout life, for however long they're here. It's like, yeah, me and my brother squabbled and shit, and I mean, like, you know, like that nigga said some slick shit, I said some slick shit back, but at the end of the day, it's like, he knew what it was, bro, and I knew what it was, you know, There was several times when I got into fist fights over a motherfucker in the schoolyard because they was fucking with him. There was several times when, you know, like, when motherfuckers would fuck with him and like, yo, why you fucking with him? You fuck with him, you fuck with me. So what's up? Yeah, so it was like that. And yeah, man, it's like boundaries are important. Knowing when to leave the conversations is important, and just knowing overall that not everything needs your attention. You know, once you figure that out, bro, it's golden. Anyway, this is about 21 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping the 4 P's, private player, positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week. I love y'all. Like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are, man. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. See you next week's. I'll see you next week Sunday. Might have a little bit of a little different things for you too because I'll be out of state. But yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.